But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Good evening. This afternoon in this room, from this chair, I testified before the Office of Independent Counsel and the grand jury. I answered their questions truthfully, including questions about my private life, questions no American citizen would ever want to answer. Still, I must take complete responsibility for all my actions, both public and private. And that is why I am speaking to you tonight. As you know, in a deposition in January, I was asked questions about my relationship with Monica Lewinsky. While my answers were legally accurate, I did not volunteer information. Indeed, I did have a relationship with Ms. Lewinsky that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong. It constituted a critical lapse in judgment and a personal failure on my part for which I am solely and completely responsible. But I told the grand jury today, and I say to you now, that at no time did I ask anyone to lie, to hide or destroy evidence, or to take any other unlawful action. I know that my public comments and my silence about this matter gave a false impression.
In 1973, just days after the Watergate break-ins, 18.5 minutes of audio were erased from a Richard Nixon debriefing on Watergate.
The fact that someone deliberately erased this tape meant that they thought there was something on there that was highly damaging to the president. Someone went to major effort to do this.
The possibility of recovering parts of that conversation has never been a reality until now. Amateur historian and former federal agent Phil Mellinger spent the last 5 years filling in the missing links of Watergate. Along the road, he discovered something.
If you can recover the notes, then you don't have to recover the tape. The project that I'm working on is to try to recover the notes President Nixon's chief of staff took during the meeting that was erased.
Along with the recording system, H.R. Haldeman, Nixon's chief of staff, took notes during every Nixon meeting.
What I did was I looked at the notes from the meeting, and after I put it together a detailed timeline of the meeting, I realized that there were pages of the notes that were missing. There's only probably a minute or two of notes from Watergate, but it was actually an 18.5-minute discussion of Watergate. So the size of the notes that remain isn't consistent with what they described as the length of the conversation.
This led Mellinger to believe that pages of notes were missing.
Nobody's ever even realized that they were missing. It was not until I looked at them with the archivist down there, and they showed me the original notes, and I had put together this detailed timeline of what I thought had occurred in the meeting, that I realized that, oh my gosh.
The thing that's so appalling to me is that the president, when this whole idea was suggested to him, didn't in righteous indignation rise up and say, get out of here, you're in the office of the President of the United States. How can you talk about blackmail and bribery and keeping witnesses silent?
I'm sorry. I just hope I haven't let you down. Well, when I said, I just hope I haven't let you down, that said it all. I had. I let down my friends. I let down the country. I let down our system of government and the dreams of all those young people that ought to get into government but will think it's all too corrupt and the rest. most of all, I let down an opportunity that I would have had for 2.5 more years to proceed on great projects and programs for building a lasting peace, which has been my dream, as you know, from our first interview in 1968, before I had any thought I might even win that year. I didn't tell you I didn't think I might win, but I wasn't sure. Yep, I let the American people down. And I have to carry that burden with me for the rest of my life.
The Iran-Contra hearings, convened in May 1987 by a special joint committee of the United States Congress to investigate the sale of U.S. weapons to Iran and the illegal diversion of money to the Contras. Often, the official explanation seemed inadequate and contradictory.
Our government has a firm policy not to capitulate to terrorist demands, that no concessions policy remains in force. In spite of the wildly speculative and false stories about arms for hostages and alleged ransom payments, we did not, repeat, did not trade weapons or anything else for hostages, nor will we.
Despite Reagan's denials, investigations soon revealed that arms had been traded for hostages held in the Mideast.
A few months ago, I told the American people I did not trade arms for hostages. My heart and my best intentions still tell me that's true, but the facts and the evidence tell me it is not.
Only days later, it was further revealed that the arms to Iran had been severely marked up. Some of the profits had been illegally diverted to support the Contras, a guerrilla force organized by the CIA fighting the Nicaraguan government. The Reagan administration had a major scandal on its hands. The use of U.S. government money for supporting the overthrow of the Nicaraguan government was specifically prohibited when Congress enacted the Boland Amendment in 1984. Even though it remained in effect until 1986, millions of dollars in profits from Iranian arms sales were secretly diverted to the Contras during this period through contacts with middlemen such as Moniker Ghorbanifar.